But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
Bill Higgins has seen the highest highs and the lowest lows, but he's faced it all with a never quit attitude.
You might as well strike out swinging, because you ain't going to hit a home run if you don't swing, and you're not even going to have a chance at it if you don't step up to the plate.
He wants to help you overcome whatever adversity you are dealing with in your own life.
There are no limits to what your dreams can be.
By sharing stories of redemption and strategies on living the best life you can live. Are you looking for some motivation and inspiration to get you on the path to success?
Quitting is a learned behavior, not a natural behavior. Our natural instinct is to not quit. But we learn to quit because people talk us out of our dreams.
You've come to the right place. These are the Comeback Chronicles.
Welcome back to the Comeback Chronicles. Welcome back, never quitters and comebackers. This is Bill Higgins, host of the Comeback Chronicles podcast, here in my bunker where I am social distancing, quarantining, spending some time with my family. I got my little boy Billy with me here on this podcast today. He's been enjoying watching me record these podcasts. He sticks his head in the video every once in a while. Likes to get his credit as the photo bomber. Sarah always notates he's in there as the photo bomber in the videos where he appears. So I figured, what the heck? If he wants to be a part of it, I'm going to make him be a part of it. Anyway, I got a nice hug from him here too. Thanks, buddy.
You're welcome.
So anyway, a couple cool things I want to talk about today. First off, I just want to kind of talk about what's going on with the podcast and how things are coming along. I've been recording more podcasts. As I've said, I've been putting up some video. I like how that's going. Trying to get more subscribers to the podcast video feed on the YouTube channel. So if you see this on the YouTube channel, make sure you click that like button, subscribe below, and hit the notification button as well, so that you stay up to date on the podcast as well as the video feed. What do I got to say, buddy? You say it. What do you want to say?
The subscribe button will change colors if you press it.
All right, you subscribed if the subscribe button changes colors when you press it. The second thing is developing the website. I don't really talk about the website too much because it started out very primitive. It was just a place to hold the podcast. I've added some design to it. It's still kind of under construction, so to speak, but that's coming along. As far as the Never Quit podcast that I record on Anchor, what I've been doing is uploading the Comeback Chronicles podcast to the Anchor Never Quit podcast feed. And when you listen to that, you can, I usually put a little extra commentary on the beginning so that, you can get a better idea of what I thought of the episode when it was done. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I think what I might start doing is recording sort of a very short daily podcast on the Never Quit podcast feed, and then making the Comeback Chronicles a weekly feature that's going to be a little bit longer, a little more in depth, a little bit more of a topic that I worked on, whereas the Never Quit podcast will sort of be like my thoughts as they come to me at the moment, which I was doing a lot in the summer. Some people like that format. I liked it. Some people like the Comeback Chronicles format where it's a little more in depth, a little more prepared, and I kind of like both. So it's a work in progress, and your feedback is what helps me make those decisions and decide how I'm going to handle this going forward. The main thing is I'm out here as often as I can, trying to help you on your comeback journey, trying to help you overcome whatever adversity you're dealing with in your life, by sharing examples and personal experiences with other people. So let me know what you think. Share your feedback. I always get a lot out of that. So one of the things I want to mention is I came across this magazine. I was doing some cleaning through some files. This is an older magazine from September 2003. It's Entrepreneur magazine. This magazine issue is from September of 2003. I came across something I thought was pretty funny. I'd share that with my audience. It's talking about the growth of Wi-Fi, and it says Wi-Fi is now showing up everywhere from gas stations to coffee houses. Wi-Fi hotspots promise fast and easy internet connections for on-the-go entrepreneurs. I thought this was kind of interesting. So they talk about 3 hotspots where there's Wi-Fi available. One of them was the Blue Dragon Coffee House in Albuquerque, New Mexico. They were charging $2.95 an hour for Wi-Fi, or $4.95 per day. And then there was a couple others here I wanted to share with you. The other DoubleTree Hotel, also in Albuquerque, New Mexico, they had a Wayport Wi-Fi, and they were charging $7.95 for 2 days, or $49.95 a month for unlimited Wi-Fi access. Pretty expensive. And then I thought this one was also pretty funny. The McDonald's in Midtown Manhattan gave 1 hour of free Wi-Fi with every extra value meal purchase. So you actually had to make a purchase. I know when I'm out working, which unfortunately has been not too frequent right now, but when I'm out on sales calls, I find McDonald's to be a great place to get free Wi-Fi. They don't. I did go in one day. It had a sign that said Wi-Fi was for customers only. I was a customer. I was buying a coffee anyway. No big deal. But for the most part, I don't think they care if you just go in there and sit there and suck up their free Wi-Fi. But I just thought this was funny in 2003, the way they were talking about Wi-Fi, and I wanted to share that with my audience. So, kind of staying on the subject of internet connectivity, what I wanted to talk to you about today was just a way to help boost your productivity. How many people have an inbox, their email inbox is just completely inundated? How many people have over 100 emails they haven't read in their inbox? How about 500? How about 1,000? Not too long ago, I had a person ask me to help them do something on their phone. And when they handed me their phone, I was looking, and they had their email app, and it said there were over 11,000 unread emails. 11,000 unread emails in their inbox. And, I see this more and more, and we all experience it. I looked just the other day, I had about 1,000 unread emails. Now, I've gone through this a couple times, the idea of inbox zero, to try to get your inbox cleared out, deal with the email processes that it comes in every day. And this is somewhat a difficult task. All right, this isn't always easy to do. And I think what happens is we just kind of let it spiral out of control. And when it backs up, it gets so far out of control, we don't know what to do. We just stop caring. We stop looking into it. And what ends up happening is our productivity suffers. We're not responding to things the way that we should. We're losing things in the cluster of emails. So what I want to do is, I've seen so many solutions out there. Everybody's got an idea on how you can address this. And, the thing with ideas is there's not one size that fits all. So what I've done is kind of taken a little bit here, a little bit there, and come up with a solution that works. And I've come up with a great solution to get to inbox zero. It's worked for me. The nice thing about the program that I put together, the way that I approach it, is you can fall off the track and get right back on and kind of start over again without being discouraged. It's sort of something that it can be a little more fluid the way you handle it. If you want to knuckle down and just move straight through the processes, I'm going to explain it to you. You could get your inbox cleared out, pretty quickly and efficiently. But if you do it for a couple days and then stop for a couple days, you could sort of get right back on the horse and do it the way that I'm talking about. You know what I also find pretty interesting is this doesn't, at least for me and for most people I talk to about this, although our email inbox gets inundated, we seem to clear text messages a lot faster. Very rarely do I see somebody have a bunch of text messages that they haven't replied to. Now, I'm not saying that those people aren't out there, but I don't see it as much as I do with email. And I think there was a reason for that. Number one, I think we're more selective about who we give our cell phone to than who we give our email to. Everybody has your email address, and you put it in all the time. You're filling out forms and giving your email address, so you get a lot of spam, a lot of junk. Usually your email address is somewhat public. If somebody asks you for your email address, or asks you for another person's email address, you probably give it out pretty quickly, whereas you might be a little more hesitant to give somebody's cell phone number without their permission. So I think we're a lot more selective in who has our phone number, our cell phone number to send text messages. Secondly, I think people are a lot more selective about what they text. You'll send an email that doesn't require prompt attention, may have a lot of information in there, may not require action, may be purely informational, maybe a project that people are working on, whereas a text message is usually, hey, I have a question for you right now. I need to give you this piece of information right now. And you just, process it, act on it, and you're done. People aren't really expecting long replies to text messages where they might be expecting a little more in-depth response to their email. So we've come to the point where we do a good job of processing text messages. We are really bad as a society, I think, at processing email. Not everybody. Some are better than others, but in a general rule, I think we do a bad job of processing email. So I've heard of multiple solutions over the years. The people who are really good at it, they don't even understand those of us who aren't. So they just kind of look at us and say, hey, just reply to your emails when they come in and clear them and delete them and move on. Yeah, that's real easy for those people who say that are able to do that, but we're not all in that boat. Another solution I've heard about and read about, and I think it's somewhat of a joke, but I think there's also some truth to it too, is called email bankruptcy. You just go in and you delete everything. You send out a text, you send out an email to your entire contact folder, every single person whose email address you have, and you say, hey, I've declared email bankruptcy. If you have a message you're waiting for a response from, you need to send it again, starting from zero. That's one solution. One, I don't think is very professional. Number two, you really may lose something that's important that you didn't deal with in a timely fashion that could cost you business, cost you money, cost you relationships. So you have to be really careful about that. So email bankruptcy sounds good, but it's something that I would avoid. But I've kind of developed a system that works for me, and maybe it'll work for you. So it's a 3-step system. The first step is this: open your email, obviously, and go all the way to the bottom. Whether that's 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, the oldest email that you have in your inbox. And just whatever month that is, let's say it's April of 2016. Right now, that when you open this up, you are just going to go through that 1 month worth of emails. And that's pretty bad if it's April of 2016. Let's say it's maybe even April 2018. And just start deleting. Just delete them all. And these don't require much time at all. If you haven't replied to this email in 2-3 years, whatever it is, even if it's a year, those people have given up on you responding, and there's very little. If you haven't accessed this message in the last, however long, it's unlikely that you're going to. Just start deleting them real fast. Look at it for 2 seconds. Delete, 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 delete. You're only deleting 1 month's worth, 30 days worth of emails. All right. Now, the next thing you're going to do is you are going to go back to the top. You go to your top of your email, and you're going to process the emails that you got for today. All right. Now, when I say process the emails that you got today, there's 4 things you can do. You could do something about it, reply, act on it, do whatever's being requested in that email right now. You could toss it, just delete it. You don't need it, get rid of it. You could delegate it, at which point you're going to just forward that email to whoever it is that you expect to take action on it with a quick message of what they're going to do. Or you could defer it. Now, I think this is where we get ourselves into problems, the deferral. You look at the email and you say, hey, I'm not going to do anything about this today, but down the road I might want to. So you just skip over it, either leave it unread or leave it in your inbox read but not deleted. And these are the ones that are filling up your inbox for the most part. So what you do is you have to figure out a way to handle those things that you're going to defer. I have 2 methods. There is a system called followupthen.com. It's a free service. You just go to followupthen.com, followupthen.com. Put in your email address, and now you have this service, and it's very intuitive. What you do is you just forward an email to that domain name with a preface of whatever you want it to be. Tomorrow at followup, followupthen.com. Friday at followupthen.com. 3 p.m. on Tuesday at followupthen.com. It's real simple. Whatever you put in there, at that date and time, you are going to get that email back again and be able to deal with it. This is really good for deferring things. The other thing you can do is I use Evernote to save things, and Evernote comes with an email address. I forward it to my Evernote inbox, and there it sits until I get to it. Now, somewhere else you got to make a note that you have to deal with this thing, follow up, but it's out of your inbox now. It's somewhere else, so when the time comes to deal with it, you can access it. All right? So that's what you got to do with your emails that are coming in today. Do something about it, toss it, delegate it, or defer it. I recommend to you that you do this 3 times a day. Do it once in the morning when you get up, however your morning routine is, when you normally check your email. This is when you're going to start processing the inbox today. Do it in the afternoon, and again, do it in the evening. This is when you're going to process that do, toss, delegate, defer process for the new incoming emails. Whenever you're going to delete your 30 oldest emails, the 30 days of oldest emails, that whatever that works for you, whenever it is you've set aside the time to work towards inbox 0. So those are the steps to numbers 1 and 2. Here's step number 3. Work in at some point during this processing every day, getting rid of the next oldest day. So you're going to process today's, whatever you have left when you first time you do this, whatever you have from yesterday you didn't process, you're going to process that. Tomorrow, when you get in there and do it, you're going to process that day's emails, and it's going to be 2 days ago that you're going to go back and process, go through that processing procedure that we talked about. The next day, you're going to have that day and 3 days back, et cetera, and so on and so forth. Sooner or later, that 30 days that you're deleting at the bottom is going to catch up with the 1 day back you're taking care of below your inbox, your daily, today's emails, I should say. And they're going to catch up, and you're going to be able to clear them all. So eventually, you're going to come across an email that you get a lot from the same place, and you never do anything with it. Let me tell you, do one of 2 things here, or do them both, really. Number 1, go up to the search bar, type in that address, and all the emails for that sender are going to come up. Delete them all. The next thing you do, ask yourself is, do I really want to continue receiving email from this source? If I do, great. Don't worry about it. If you don't, go there and unsubscribe. All right. This is a big thing. We get so many emails from things that we never look at, never use. We need to get in there and unsubscribe to those. All right. So that's the third step. So you got the first step is getting rid of the 30 oldest days. The second step is processing today's emails. And the third step is processing the next most recent day. And like I said, during that process, you're going to be unsubscribing to anything that you don't normally want. All right. The other thing, you may come across an email that's a little bit older that you realize that you probably should have done something about, but you didn't. I'm going to recommend you have a form response that you just have saved and you copy and paste so you can move through these things pretty quickly. It says something like this. You sent me this email last year, or whatever the date is. Please accept my apology for overlooking it. My inbox can get overwhelming sometimes. I'm sure you can relate. If this still needs my attention, please get back to me. Otherwise, I will presume that this has been resolved. Thank you for your understanding. Simple as that. Have it saved so that you can just copy and paste that in there and move through it very quick. I think people will understand. I've done it before. People appreciate it. They're like, oh, I'm glad you finally got back to me on that. They might update you on what has happened since then. They might thank you and say, hey, you know what? I do still need your attention to that. Thanks for getting in touch with me. So that's just one way to handle that thing. So the beauty of this whole system that I talked about is this. You could start it and finish it and get back on the horse at any time. All right. If you do it for a couple days and fall off the horse when you get back there, the next 30 days of the oldest emails are going to be there for you to delete. You're going to be able to process today's email, whatever day that is, and then the next day that you didn't process. Could have been yesterday, the day before, or whatever. So I think it's a system that works. It works for me. My only regret is that I don't do it often enough, but at least 2 different times using this process, I've gotten to inbox 0. As I started preparing for this podcast, I had close to 1,000 emails that I needed to process. But my oldest 30 days was only 11 months ago. So I'm back on that horse, and I'm going to try it. I'll update you on the next podcast to how that's going, but I expect to be right back to inbox zero real soon. Now, you may ask yourself, why do you care? Why is it even important to be at inbox zero? And maybe to you it's not. I think it relieves some stress. It puts you in a position where you feel like you're more in control of what's going on. When you have those emails just sitting there, you're not dealing with it, you feel a little bit out of control. So, hey, it's my productivity tip for the day. If it works for you, great. If not, no harm, no foul, right? So, appreciate you listening. One other thing I mentioned at the beginning of this podcast, some of the things I'm doing, what I'm trying to do is every day is put a daily motivational message out in the morning, and I've been posting that on TikTok and Snapchat. So if you don't follow me on either of those platforms, please do. I'm real easy to find. Both of them are under my name, Bill Higgins. So look me up on there. If you can't find me, send me a message and I'll get you a link so that you can take care of that. So I look forward to being here again and talk to you real soon. And in the meantime, never surrender, never give up, never quit. Remember, tomorrow isn't promised, but today is. You get out there and make the very best of it.
Thanks for listening to the Comeback Chronicles. If Bill has motivated and inspired you today, don't forget to subscribe to the podcast and share it. You can find us on Facebook and Instagram by searching the Comeback Chronicles. If you want to book Bill as a speaker for your organization, email him at bill@billhigginsjr.net. Hope you'll come back for more inspiration from the Comeback Chronicles.